Hi everyone, today I'll be talking about how to integrate Journaler with Xero. Okay, so when you first sign into Journaler, you may be taken to your subscription page, but presumably if you have already accepted this subscription, you will not be getting a reminder. So I'm currently on Pro, which is the best package we offer, giving you the full functionalities, including the Xero integration. So once again, what do you get with this? Transaction, bank feed exports, invoice and bills exports, and general features will be coming soon, but I will cover what is there available right now. So looking at my wallets, I actually do not have any wallets in here, and I'll find for you an existing wallet now. So once again, here we are. I'm just going to quickly add my Bitcoin wallet. It's just a test one. Name, put in an address, save it. Take up to 5 minutes to sync, but that should not prevent me from being able to link my organization. So let's go into integrations. I want to connect my Xero organization. I had to connect, pretty simple, and I use my Xero credentials. However, if you've already logged in with Xero, that may not necessarily ask you already for those credentials, and it will be taken directly to the next page. But starting with that step, all right, and here I am. So if you've ever done integrations with Xero, that screen should look familiar to you. You have to select an organization you want to use. I have a range of demo organizations here. SMH is actually our test file, and I will stay on that. So I'll continue with that one organization. Let's see if it comes up. That now lets me see which organization I have in there. The nice thing about our integration, we let you integrate with more than one organization. And I can do that directly here. So I will go choose the other demo file, allow access. And now I have two of them here. However, since I do want to stay on this one, as I know I've got accounts set up already, I'll just choose to disconnect the first one. And that should just take it off. Perfect. Okay, and let's go to create integration. Now, let's find the wallet. Great, we can see this now. It tells me my Bitcoin wallet address, the icon, name, and the address. I can choose the start date for the transactions. Let's go all the way back again because we just synced it. It may not be populating it. And I can set an end date if I want. Going through there. Now, as you notice, that button live was the first thing that was ticked. And if you choose a live integration, what this means, your integration will be ongoing without an end date to it, but you can always stop it. And we'll actually explore this option for the minute, as that will let you see how the integration works. So nothing to worry about here, that the transactions are not yet syncing. As I said, it takes a few minutes. The default settings are invoice, bills, or transactions. I'll go over to transactions, which is essentially the bank feed. So you will select the account you want to feed this against. And you can, let's say you mark sales. It only becomes relevant if you've gone to mark as reconciled, because that means you're automatically reconciling your transactions. If you're not automatically reconciling your transactions, they will show up in your Xero file, but they will be there for you to actually still confirm that allocation. Personally, I prefer that option, as it's actually just better to check as an accountant or bookkeeper. You might prefer that option too. You can select where your fees are going. So we actually do let you separate your fees. I call them bank fees, but you could have them under, transactional blockchain fees. Again, however you want to have it set up in Xero. And then again, I've got a range of accounts set up in my test file. So just make sure to know this is a test file. So it has some, varying accounts in here, but I've been just using the AUD before. You can call it anything you want. What you need to do in Xero, you have to go in, create an account, call it a blank account that could be sitting under the banks, but you have to just enter some dummy data. So for example, put all zeros or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want, give it a name. Let's say I wanted to have it under my AUD account where I've done this, and I can post against it. One other important hint is your accounts should have a number preceding it. If they don't, they will not show up on this list. It's just a limitation to how Xero lets you integrate. So if you have accounts without numbers at the start, which is possible to set up a bank account like that, it may not show up here. It's a limitation on Xero's end rather than a general end, which just follows the standard API integration. All right, now we can set what our transactions will carry as tax. Again, if you're marking it as reconciled, that will automatically fill it and reconcile it to that. If you're not marking it as reconciled, then it will just show up there with that setting. So let's say I'm performing sales, then I do know I want to show tax on this. But if I'll be, for example, matching those payments against invoices, then there will just be transfers. So it really depends what sort of accounting you're doing here. If you have invoices waiting to be matched against payments, those transfers will just match automatically. And probably as a reminder to yourself, you could just say, pass exclusive if you wanted to. Sorry, that's actually bank fees. So it will be GST-free expenses. And then here I could have, well, doesn't really matter because again, the GST won't be relevant. So this bank fee that I'm setting up here, I'll set it up this way. I'll say that was from last year because I know that's when I started my transactions. Another reminder, when you first set up the account, it will let you feed data from up to 5 years in the past. This is for our Bitcoin wallets Bitcoin wallets and blockchain live wallets. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, XRP, and the list is growing. You will actually soon see the list of our exchange wallets that can be fed into here. Exchange wallets, in fact, do not have any time limitation because you import files manually into them. And when you import those files manually, what that means, you can go as far back in history as you want because they really just come from your spreadsheets and files that you may have or a client may have given you for an accountant. So let's proceed to export. I'm setting that up. It may take a little bit of time to show up, and then you go manage. And I can see that my bank feed is here and it's just waiting to see some transactions going in. So that's essentially it for your Xero integration for transactions. And I'll show you another example with transactions already in place. So back in here, just going to my other demo file. This already has transactions in it, in the wallets. Therefore, I can head to my export. Just be wary that I've been doing a lot of tests here, so you can see all the exports I've set up. That's what your live feeds look like, where there are already transactions feeding there. And the nice thing is I can actually see, that's what the eye tells you, all the transactions that have gone across into Xero. Let's just reduce my screen size a little. And the amazing thing we give you is that for every transaction you've exported, you can actually click and head directly into Xero. So it's a very easy way to just check where that's gone, directly taking you to that particular transaction. Let's just give it a go. If that works or not. Yeah, it has worked. Okay, and it shows me where my fee's gone, where the transaction is sitting, and basically that's what I've coded it. Of course, if there were issues, you could have just edit and make some changes. Important thing to note here is that the tool is obviously the address where this money is gone to. We're working on some additional cool upgrades where we'll actually let you use our address book, and we'll have a range of addresses. Again, I can show you here where you can add, let's say I've added myself, whatever addresses belong to me. Eventually, this will actually let you just map the name against the address, and then that name will carry into Xero rather than the full address. These are some of the cool upgrades we still, are working on. So here we are. Okay, I've got quite a few files here going. But yeah, that was mainly it. So once again, let's check which one I'm in. Okay, I'm in my other file, my other test file. Let me just refresh this. Okay, sign in again. Just me typing very fast. So I'm in this, but I was actually trying to log into the other file. But while we're in the test file, I'll show you real quickly the other hint where you can actually see what am I looking for? I'm looking for chart of accounts. Chart of accounts. And there you are. So some of those accounts that we've been filling in, and I have actually contradicted myself because see the account I've set up without a number did actually work this time. So it's actually has been updated with Xero. Accounts with numbers will be picked up, but it may be that actually in some instances you won't see it. So just have a look, but AUD account, yeah, we just set it up with a name, gave it a generic BSB, some generic number, and that actually is appearing on the list. Again, it's a whole history of stuff that we've been posting, but you can see that the posting happens both on debit and credit side without any major issues here. So let's go back. I should actually be able to sign in with my Xero credentials now. And I do really want to show you the second integration. So for the other files. So let's say I go create integration. You're going to see, let's say I'm linking to one of the files. And well, let's say I just set a live integration this time, it's fine. Oh, you know what? Let's say I do it from, let's go back a little bit. Let's say we go somewhere in January to, let's say, set it to my end date. So there's only a small batch I want to do. Okay, well, there weren't enough transactions there, weren't they? Let's go back a bit more. Okay, yep. Okay, great. The transactions are showing. Why I want to show you this? Well, this is the other very handy feature we have. So you obviously have a selector here. And if you want to choose the particular transactions that are reportable, you could just, of course, narrow this down. In addition to that, I've shown you just before the transaction export, but let's say for the sake of it, we do the other one. And I've got transactions going in and going out. So once again, this is actually going for a nice, neat little update where at the moment, what we do for you, it's automatic. So we automatically match for you invoices and bills. So money going out is a bill, money going in is an invoice. We will have this one separated for you just to make it a bit easier. But if I wanted to just get all my transactions coming in and create invoices, in fact, I can still have them as draft if I want, or any other default option. Or let's say I have them as authorized. For authorized, you can actually mark them as paid. And if you reconcile it, that actually will then go mark itself as paid against the account you're defining. So let's say I do want to then do it with the account that I want to do. Let me see my AUD account. That's the one I'm referring to. Let's say these are sales and fees, bank fees. These are those. So again, just a reminder, if you're not an accountant, I would expect, or your bookkeeper, that you're getting your bookkeeper or accountant to do those settings for you. It's relatively tricky if you don't know what you're doing, because this is accounting specific procedures, so you do have to understand your chart of accounts. But other than that, for sales, here I am, and I can go, cool, I've got two that I know are my sales, and I want to export those, and I'm exporting. It just might take a little bit of time, but then if I go to manage, that should appear on my list eventually. Okay, so here's the invoice export that I've performed. Similar to before, I can see where that's gone. I can click on this and it will take me into my invoice, and you can see that it's actually reconciled it as I wanted and has labeled it the way I want it to as well. So GST income sales, it gives you the date and time of the transaction with the exchange rate as well. So we'll give you all the specifics in case you need to make any changes on it. And just back to the integration page, just go back. Because our integration is very versatile, we can in fact do multiple. And if you can see, I've actually managed to do more than one on some occasions. I'm just going to just cancel some of them because there's been a lot of tests going on. But the cool thing is, if you've set your live feed twice, it will remind you, or it will ask you if you want to confirm doing this again, or if you want to do another export from the same account again. If you get a reminder, there's a question. The reason we've enabled this is because we let you connect with multiple organizations, but on top of that, we also just can see scenarios where you may want to export different transaction data into the same account. So it's just up to you what you want to do. But rule of thumb is, once you set up your integration once, you keep a single integration. If you're doing manual integrations, then you do as many as you want rather than live. And that's all. So in my next videos, what we'll be talking about is setting up a journaler and all your user settings. Thanks once again.